Hello everybody, my name is Edson and welcome back to a brand new update video. This one's, it's a real talk. I'm going to be talking about my 6 weeks of stress. And if you guys follow me on Twitter or if you're part of the Discord, then you probably, possibly already know what I'm going to talk about. But I'm going to talk about it in a little bit more detail. If you're not and you don't know, then make sure you do follow me on Twitter or join the Discord. And you will find stuff like this out first, and just generally you'll be able to keep in touch with me, my content and everything a little bit easier. Links to all of that are in the description down below. Anyway, these last 6 weeks have been probably the most stressful 6 weeks of my life, or definitely of like recent years. And it's because I found out from the job that I've got IRL that there was a possibility that I could be made redundant, and that was about 3 to 4 months ago. And I was quite confident that I wasn't. Anyway, comes round to it, and I'm one of the people that's up for redundancy. And if you guys don't know, because it's not a term that's used in America, I don't think, and it's not a term that's used in every country, but redundancy is essentially when a company downsizes, a company merges with another, or anything like that could change or create the need for a restructure in the staff, in the way the company's run, and it could possibly mean that some people would need to be let go. They're obviously they're not getting fired because they've not done anything wrong, but they would be let go and be made redundant, which is where the term comes, and in the UK we call this redundancy. And it's essentially you're losing your job, but you're entitled to X amount of pay for however many years you've been there. And it differs from company to company. You find out when you start a job what a redundancy package would be for your job. So I knew going into this that I would get 2 weeks pay for every year that I've been there. So I would get, because I've been at this company for 4 years, I would get 2 months pay if I got made redundant. So it sounds, obviously when you look at the lump sum, it looks a lot, but you got to think it's only 8 weeks pay, and within those 8 weeks, yes, you've got 8 weeks pay extra. So when you lose your job, you're sort of covered for 2 months, but you need to find a job like within those 2 months, and the countdown starts. So it's a very stressful time. And I was up for redundancy. Now, this obviously made me extremely stressed. You guys know that about a year ago, I think it is about now, because it was around, I think it'll be a year come the end of July. So it's almost a year now that I've been on medication for my anxiety. And it's something I've been quite open about, I've talked about, I've done some real talks about. Go back and watch them if you want to understand more about that. And it's something that, obviously, if something is happening in my life, it can make me quite anxious. Now, obviously, being on the anxiety medication, it's generally helped me now deal with stressful times, but this one really did affect me, and rightly so, because it's the money that I use to live. It's my income. It's a company that I've worked for 4 years, and it's just stressful thing to find out that you could be made redundant and you could lose your job, especially when it is being made redundant. It's essentially outside of your control, and the company that I work for is going through a massive restructure, and there's people that are being need to let go. So anyway, I find this out. And it's essentially a 6 to 8 week process, and it was a 6 week process for me. And I went into a meeting at the start of this 6 weeks, and it says, "You are one of the people that is going to be made redundant," and that is essentially what I found out 6 weeks ago. And they said it was going to happen July 1st. So immediately I'm there like, holy shit, oh my god, what do I do? So I'm there thinking, do I accept the redundancy and spend the next 3 to 4 weeks trying to like scout a job and maybe try and time it perfectly, because that's difficult to do, and maybe try and get a job that starts in July or something, so that I can get the redundancy pay and then start a new job, and essentially I've just earned a couple of extra months' pay for nothing. But then it's trying to find a job that you want. I've been quite adamant over the last couple of years that I do want a new career, and I don't want to work in the job that I'm currently working at for the rest of my life. But obviously, money's money, and I don't want to not have the chance to earn money. So I definitely wanted to stay. So I'm thinking, all these things are going through my head, and I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. And it was quite overwhelming, quite stressful. And anyway, over the next week, during the first week, I found out that there's some managers' positions going. Because of the restructure, there's some positions going, which is essentially would be a promotion. So in the midst of all of this, I could apply for a promotion and stay at the company. So I'm thinking, well, do I do this? This is more pay, the promise for potentially more hours, more pay, more money. All the benefits that come from it. And I'm thinking, do I go for this? So I thought, you know what? There's nothing, and I spoke to my managers and the people in higher up and all of that, and I spoke to all of them, and I was like, do I still get made redundant if I apply for this and don't get it? And they're like, yeah, you'll still get your redundancy pay and everything like that, because that was the worry. I was like, if I apply for it and I don't get it, and they're like, oh well, take care, you don't get your redundancy pay now or something because of some clause or something. But no, I would still get my redundancy pay. So I was like, well, I may as well apply for it. There's no harm. Anyway, I applied for it, and they're like, okay, you're going to be considered as one of them, because they gave the courtesy of interviewing everyone that applied for it that was being made redundant, because they were like, it's the least we can do, which was nice of them, honestly. It was the least they can do to give everyone a chance to go for that, to go for those roles internally, especially those that were being made redundant. And they weren't dismissing anyone and saying, no, we're not going to give you an interview, we're going to carry on with the redundancy. They gave everyone the chance to interview, to go through the test, the meetings and everything. And it was a long process. It was a 4-week process of, I think I went for 3 meetings or something. And I went for a big day where I had interviews, tests, and loads of stuff. And there was a lot of stuff that I had to go through, applying for this manager's position, this essentially promotion. And this was like a 4-week process. So this was like week 2 to week 5 of the 6-week until I was being made redundant. Anyway, skip forward to last week, and everything was done, and I was just waiting for an answer. And essentially it came down to 3 of us that were going for 2 roles. So in my eyes, I was like, this is looking good now, 66% chance to get this. And then this last week was hell, just waiting. Anyway, I went for my final meeting to find out the answer. And this was on Saturday, and I'm just pulling up my calendar, Saturday the 31st of, no, the 30th? Saturday the 29th of June. So this was 2 days ago on Saturday, 3 days ago on Saturday, as you guys are seeing, or 2 days, I think you guys are seeing this on Monday, so 2 days ago on Saturday, I went for an interview, a meeting, should I say, to find out the answer, find out how I did in all of these interviews and meetings and everything like that, find out my scoring, find out whether I got the job. And this was on the Saturday the 29th, and my redundancy was going to happen on the 30th. I'd already worked my last day. My last day was on Friday the 28th. And essentially that was it. I was like, I'm done. I said goodbye to my colleagues, and I'm like, that's it. I'm out. Unless I get this job, I may not see you again, sort of thing. So I'd worked my final day on the 28th of June, last Friday, and then I went in for my interview, my meeting, should I say, on the 29th, the day after. because my redundancy was going to start on the 30th / the 1st of June. It was the 30th would have been my last day, but my last day at work was the 28th. So the redundancy pay would have come in, and I would have been officially made redundant on Monday the 1st of July, which is the day you're seeing this. So I went for the meeting 2 days ago. So this is how close to the wire it came to me being made redundant and losing my job. And at the end of a 6-week process, I'm stressed to anything. I'm not sleeping. I'm constantly worried about it. Anytime anyone's speaking to me, I'm doing anything, in the back of my head, all I'm thinking about is, have I lost my job? Have I lost my job? Have I got this job? Have I got the promote? Like, everything is just going through my head at this point. It's going a million miles an hour. I walk into the meeting, and immediately the person that I know I had a meeting with this person before, as part of the process. He immediately realised like how stressed I was when I walked in. He says, the first thing he says is like, welcome, hello, sit down, whatever. And he says, don't worry, you've got the job. And then he like went on to explain, but I was quite happy he said that, because I was just like, I don't know if I could make it through the meeting at that point without knowing that. But I got the job. Through the process of people being made redundant, they've given these meetings and interviews to a lot of people, and they were saying that I essentially scored flawless in 3 of the 4 categories, and the other category, which was the actual like test, which is really difficult to score flawless in that, I got like 90 something %, and apparently I scored higher overall than the majority of people that had taken these interviews and tests before. So essentially, I fucking smashed it, and I did really well, and I got the manager's position. So in a 6-week process of constant stress and constant worry, I essentially worked my last shift. After 6 weeks of knowing that I was going to be made redundant, I worked my last shift. I went for a meeting to find out if I'd got this manager's position and essentially been promoted, and if I didn't, I was being made redundant the next day. And it came down to the wire, and it was such a freaking weird scenario of how it all happened. But I didn't get made redundant. I kept my job, and not only did I keep my job, I essentially got a promotion in the midst of all of this. And I now earn more money, and I'm going to be doing more hours. So yeah, it's been a stressful 6 weeks, and I'd just like to apologise and say that's why videos haven't been daily, and that's why streams have been just very lackluster, especially the last couple of weeks. I had the move in between these last 6 weeks, so obviously I've been moving during this all as well, which has just been stressful on top. But it's sort of been a distraction as well, which is not too bad. So obviously I've been moving during all of this, so that sort of affected the streams. But on top of that, all of this, I didn't really want to stream because I didn't feel myself. So I've not really been streaming as much. But it's over now, and I can breathe a sigh of relief. And honestly, these last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, when I found out the news, I've just been like chilling out. I've had some drinks, I've had some good food, I've gone out with my friends, I've had a weekend of chilling, celebrating, and just not being stressed. The first time I've not felt stressed for 6 weeks straight. So it's been an interesting time. But thankfully I've come out the end of it with some positive news that I've kept my job, and not only kept it, I've been promoted. So these 6 weeks of stress have been stressful. And that's where I've been these last 6 weeks, and that's why things have just seemed a little bit off. And if they have seemed off, I apologise. Videos are back, streams are back. I'm back to my normal self. I'm sorry for the last 6 weeks have not really been too there with everyone and everything. It'll change now. And yeah, thank you so much for the support. As always, like I said at the start of the video, if you guys aren't follow me on Twitter or part of the Discord, links are in the description down below. And thank you so much for watching. Come hang out in my stream tonight. I think it's after, as this goes live, I should be streaming. So if you're here when this video goes live and you're watching it, then I'm probably streaming right now. Click the link in the description to my Twitch page and you can probably find me live. If not, I'll probably be streaming live the next couple of weeks to make up for it. So yeah, including my birthday on Sunday, which is the 7th of July. So I'm doing a big stream on my birthday. So make sure you go and check me out then. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.